In the studio with me is Merritt and Skylar and the rest of the band, Trapdoor Social. Good morning, gentlemen.
How's it going, Jim?
Doing well. You guys drove all night to get here, huh?
Yeah. Actually, we drove for about 30 hours before we got here. Car broke down in California, got the transmission replaced, and then drove all night, and just barely kind of crawled into town last night. So we're glad to have made it.
And we're glad to have you here. It's like it's a treat to have a band in on a Sunday morning. Now the web tells you how you guys met in college. I bet there's more to that story. So tell me a little bit about the beginnings of the band.
Yeah, Merritt and I met doing environmental studies at Pomona College in California. We had a few classes together, just kind of studying sustainability and some of the environmental problems that we're facing these days, and that was something that we really jammed on, and definitely spent some late nights in the computer lab trying to get homework done, talking about how we would like to solve problems and talking about the music we like, and that's definitely where we became friends. So a year or two outside of college, we fired up the band.
Your first EP did really well, Death of a Friend. The new one, Signs of Love, is out. So you did something really interesting. I want to hear a little bit. I think the listeners would love to hear more about. Colorado Springs is the kind of town where people like doing good things. And you guys did something with a solar initiative with the EP Signs of Love. You guys are completely independent. And you did something, it's called Pledge.
Yeah, Pledge Music is an online crowdfunding platform like Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something, but it's designed specifically for bands. And so we used Pledge Music to sell our new album, basically, and take all the money that we got from that to donate towards a solar power project in Los Angeles. We partnered up with a couple of other nonprofits like the Sierra Club, Everybody Solar, Grid Alternatives, and we did this big fundraiser together and put together about $35,000 worth of solar for a nonprofit called Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles, and that's going to be built in the next couple weeks. They're putting those solar panels up, and that's very exciting that that's all finally coming together.
Well, tell us a little bit more about Homeboy Industries. It sounds interesting.
For sure. Homeboy is this great organization that has been around LA for years. It's a nonprofit that trains former gang members to work in the industries of the future. They're working in solar and food service and every kind of job and social service that you could provide to someone who's trying to rehabilitate from a life of crime or from prison. And so it's absolutely a force for good and creating economic mobility for people in Los Angeles. And we just love that company. We heard of them a while back, and we decided we wanted to put our music to work. We wanted to turn the music into what we believed in as far as sustainability and clean energy, and we knew we had to put that power somewhere, so we chose Homeboy as the recipient for that donation.
And I saw that you guys got funded at 105%, and each person that went on Pledge Music and they got something. What were some of the things that you guys offered to get people to help fund you?
Well, for one, the main thing is the Science of Love album, which is more than just what's on the EP we released. We put out 17 songs for everyone that supported this project, and a lot of those, well, all those and more actually are going to hopefully be coming out later this year. But everyone got the music, and some of the other perks included we wrote songs for people who donated a certain amount. We were playing private shows for people, sent props from our music videos. What else, Merritt?
Basketball.
Yeah, you can play basketball with us. Like, I think Merritt's looking to play a game with a guy in Chicago. He owes someone
In Seattle, yeah.
And stuff like that. So just we want to make it interactive. Like, the internet is enabling some interactivity between the band and the fans in a way that wasn't possible before, and we want to give people something they could take home from that project, and we just wanted to get people involved.
Now, being an independent artist and not tied to a label, do you think that gives you the freedom to do these sort of things?
It's hard to say because I've never been signed to a label, but I am certainly enjoying not having anyone tell us, what we have to do. It's a hell of a lot of fun to just, follow our gut and do, musically and, with stuff like this. Like I'm pretty sure an album would, a record label wouldn't want us to give away
Right.
100% of what we made off of that fundraiser. So, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, it looks like you guys are having fun, short of the transmission problems, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, we've kept spirits high, but that would have been nice to not have to deal with that. Oh well.
Life on the road.
For sure.
So last time you were here, last March, it was just the two of you. Now we have a studio full of guys. You want to tell us a little bit and introduce the rest of the band?
For sure, we're pretty packed in here, and I couldn't be happier with that. The band has been growing and evolving and rebuilding, and it's absolutely the most exciting development that we have going in my eyes right now is how we're growing with these guys. Last summer we started touring and picked up our drummer Eyal Dahan from Israel, and then our guitar player Louis Gonzalez that we found in LA, and they've both been fantastic. And then just a couple months ago, we added in my buddy from high school, from back in Seattle, Clayton Patterson, who is a very talented guy, plays guitar, piano, sings and produces, and then Patrick Griffin as well is now our bass player, and all these guys are just bringing a lot of energy and hard work and action and fantastic musicianship to the band, and I just couldn't be more thrilled about where we're going.
Well, we're glad we just could fit you in our little shoebox of the studio.
Just
here.
barely.
And
We're
it's-
cozy.
Cozy and
Oh,
comfort. Well, you got the guys assembled. Everybody's got their instruments. We're gonna try and mix this live. Why don't you guys introduce one and let's hear you play one.
For sure. All right. Well, first one we're gonna do for you today is a little cover of from one of our favorite writers. This song is called "Such Great Heights" by Postal Service. I thinking it's a sign that heights come down now.
Trapdoor Social live in the studio. We're going to step away for a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to play more from their brand new EP, Science of Love. You're listening to RXP, the alternative at 103.9. Angel City by Trapdoor Social live in the studio. Hi there, I'm Jim Edwards. We're having a blast. These guys are here. Merritt and Skylar. Hey, guys.
What's up?
Hey, Jim.
They drove all night to get here, broken transmission, and we are breaking new music. They're telling me Science of Love, the first time it was ever played right here on RXP. We are so damn proud.
Thank you for busting that out.
We are. That one was called Angel City. That's the third cut off the new it's not LP, it's an EP, Science of Love. And so now I was looking, I listened through your first one, Death of a Friend. And then I heard the little bits and pieces of Science of Love. I see a little bit of a shift. Where you guys headed with your music? Tell us a little bit about how Science of Love has come together.
Well, so a lot of what's on the Science of Love EP and the Science of Love double album that we'll put out later is produced more or less the same way as the Death of a Friend EP was. Same producer, same process, Merritt and I both writing. And I'd say the main difference that you're hearing with Science of Love from some of the older stuff is that it's a little bit more electronic elements are used in the production, but other than that, it's a similar process.
Well, with Death of a Friend, I think it was like 4 of the songs, it was just I had done before Skylar even got involved, and so I think a lot of the progression is like everything that on the new EP is us together, both of our writing. So it's kind of taken shape just organically, naturally, just as us both, being writing on it.
So I think that's one thing that's shifted a little bit, but I think much more dramatic will be the shift after Science of Love as we change our production process with these new band members becoming part of production, and with Clayton helping with production. We're really kind of fundamentally changing our process, and I think that's really exciting.
Walk us through a little bit about the backstory on Science of Love.
Sure. Well, like when you're writing a song, you can't help but be influenced by who's else in the room, who's writing that song with you, and like you just, and it kind of just takes you to a different place than you would normally go. And Skylar, he has a whole set of different influences than I do, and I will kind of go and meet him in the middle. I'll go meet him in the middle, and I can't help but meeting him in the middle. And so it's just like every time you add someone new, you sprinkle a new ingredient, it changes what comes out of the the oven or whatever.
I like that analogy, adding in new ingredients. Well, you guys ready to play another one? We'll have you guys do another one. We're going to roll some more on the CD. We've got you here pretty much for the hour. Let's make good use of it and get everybody primed and ready for the big show tonight. Of course, the show is at the Black Sheep. There are tickets available at the door. We're going to have a couple people lucky enough to get on our guest list. And then afterwards, you guys have a merch table. You can get to meet the band. So you get to hear them now and meet them later. So let's dive back into some music.
Excellent.
Go ahead and introduce it.
Thanks, Jim. If you've been listening to RXP for the last year or so, you might have caught this one. This is off the Death of a Friend EP. It's called Away.
Mind, 'cause you like a disease. Fire in the sky, it's raining heavily. There will come a time when you decide it's fight or flight, and you've had enough. Something in your eye tells me what you need. A lover by your side and some fresh air to breathe. Leave it all behind and run away with me. Leave it all behind and run away with me. Oh, way, yeah. Oh, way, yeah. Oh, way, yeah. Oh, way, yeah.
unbelievable. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Jim.
I've got to admit, I'm kind of geeking out here watching you guys play. I'm really enjoying this. Trapdoor Social is the band, if you didn't know who they were. Come on, we play them a lot. Merritt and Skylar and the rest of the band here, they are sweating. We're in this little shoebox of a studio, but they are playing for you. Unbelievable. I will tell you a little bit about that song, how I like what the part that I like about it. Toward the end, probably with like a minute left, you guys just rock out. The bass is pumping, and it's just music for a while, and then you guys come back into the chorus. I turned it up. It's one of those songs that you want. It's a summertime song for me. Turn it up, pull the top down, and drive over the speed limit. It's just a great summer song, and we've been playing it for a while. Got the new stuff going on. You talked earlier a little bit about your musical influences. What influenced you to get where you are today?
Well, Merritt and I definitely have some overlap and some artists that each of us would call out. I mean, for me, my biggest influences have been Death Cab for Cutie, Third Eye Blind, Jimmy Eat World. You know, I grew up in the '90s listening to alternative rock. Of course, you know, Florence and the Machine, Bon Iver, Macklemore. I played jazz and, you know, sung in choirs and done musical theater. So I've got a bit more of a hodgepodge than he does, but that's my short list.
How about your list?
Well, I like Brit rock a ton. Like, I love Radiohead and Muse and Tears for Fears, and I think where we overlap is like kind of the more like Third Eye Blind, Death Cab type stuff, where it's still kind of like it's real like anthemic and huge, but also like intimate too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of grateful to have Skylar as a writing partner, just because it's like it's not the same thing. If we were both like coming from the same place, I don't think it would be as interesting, because I think we push each other in different ways, and the result is something that you wouldn't, you know, think would come out of it.
Skylar, you talked about starting out early. When did you start? How old were you?
Oh, I've been picking up an instrument every few years since like third grade. You know, choir, and then saxophone, and then piano, or then guitar, then piano. You know, clarinet and other stuff have come later, but just kind of been picking it up since high school, more or less.
So when you were young in middle school, high school, is there one band that you went, wow, I want to do that, I want to be them? Is there one that stands out? I've
probably learned and covered more Third Eye Blind songs than anybody else, but there's a lot of different artists that inspire me in different ways. You know, it's hard to nail down just one hero. I mean, sometimes it's like some artists inspire me by their performance style, like just what they do on stage and how, you know, they present their music and how they show their passion. And some artists, some artists put a message in what they do. Like, part of what makes me love Macklemore is like what he talks about, you know, consumerism and, you know, rights, and, you know, what he believes in, and his, you know, his vulnerabilities. And I just am inspired by, you know, by that element of his music as well. So
how about you? When did you start?
I've been singing like singing choir and stuff since I was, I don't know, like 5 or 6, and then always did that all the way through high school, and started dabbling in piano, and I still dabble in piano.
Was there one group that stood out for you?
Yeah, Collective Soul, actually. Collective Soul, The World I Know. I just heard that song, and I wasn't thinking about music the same way. It was kind of like a background in my head, where I'd be like, oh, that's nice, but I wouldn't like emotionally connect with it. But when I heard that song, it just like gave me so many chills, and all of a sudden, like, I started thinking about music not just as something that's very passive in the background, but like something that can actually change you, like makes you want to like do better and be better when you hear something that's inspiring like that.
Skylar, you talked about messages in the music. How about you guys? Is there a message in your music?
Sure. Well, more and more. I mean,
Angel City.
You just heard Angel City on the air, and that song's about Los Angeles, where we're all based, and it's about the sprawl and the pollution, and just kind of like, what. Well,
Yeah, back in the 1930s, not many people know this, but Los Angeles had actually the best public transit system in the country.
Really?
Yeah, and it was bought
In the
up
world,
in the
actually.
world, in the world, and it was bought up by oil and car companies, and it was just kind of let to fall into
it was
disrepair.
literally thrown away.
It was just thrown away, and so it would encourage more, it encouraged the government to build roads and people to drive instead. And so that's why, because all those roads and highways, that's why it's so spread out now. And so
It's just like this vast sprawl. There's no walking in LA.
it didn't just magically happen that way. Corporations, when you let corporations plan your city, they're going to do it in a way that fits their shareholders.
There you go, a little bit of history. I did not know that. Well, you've got the Science of Love EP on iTunes, and so last night, not having a copy of it, I kind of clicked on iTunes and get those little samples. The last track number 6, caught my eye. So I'm going to roll that one. Want to tell me a little bit about Out Alive before we roll? We're going to do commercial. We'll come back. You guys maybe play another one for us.
Yes.
We'd love to play another one for you after we come back. And Mary, what can we say about Out Alive?
Out Alive, I think, I don't know. It's one that came together like right at the end, and it was kind of just something that we were just all kind of messing around with in the studio, and it was just kind of like a happy little like creation that we didn't necessarily think was going to turn out to something, but we just kind of just built it, layered more stuff onto it, and it just
I think that's what caught my ear. I only got that little bit of snippet, but I was like, you know what? I heard that little bit of snippet, and it said, I want to hear the rest. So I hope you all think the same way I do. If not, well, we'll play something else then. I'm Jim Edwards. You're listening to RXP. We've got Trapdoor Social in the studio. New music from them on the station that gives you new music. The alternative, RXP at 1039. Trapdoor Social. The song is called Paper Love, off the new EP Science of Love. Hi there, I'm Jim Edwards. You're listening to the alternative RXP at 1039. We're in the studio with Trapdoor Social. Merritt, Skylar, and the rest of the guys in the band. Hey there.
What's going
Hey,
on?
Jim.
Hello. So we're back after playing a couple cuts off the new EP, and you were talking a little bit about creating songs versus organic versus laboratory. Let's touch on that a little bit.
There's a couple different. I think we got a couple of like polar different examples here of the organic and the laboratory. The organic is kind of what we've got a new song that we might sing for you here in a minute.
Okay.
And it's called Fine on My Own. And the way that that's being done is the song is written just chords, lyrics, and melody. The core of the song is written, and then once we decide that it's a good song, then we take it to production, and we cut a demo. We start putting down ideas. The different band members apply, their styles to it, their sound and their artistry to it, and it, transforms and evolves until it's done. And that's what we're gonna be doing, and have started doing with this new song. In the laboratory, you've got a producer
You start
who
out with
wants to make a sound that they think is hot, and then they maybe build a track that is going to sound popular, and then you might like kind of just try to work backwards to get jam some words on there, or try to make something that's gonna sound popular.
Well, it's
And
just
that's
kind of
more like what happened with Out Alive.
It's just kind of an order of operations thing, because a lot of times if you lay down a beat first and you like lay down some elements and start building a track, that can inspire the melody, and that can inspire and end up going in a really like creative way. And writing songs, it's like all about kind of getting out of your head, breaking things up a little. Because if you're always like, this is me personally, if you're always at your keyboard just writing, and it's just you just kind of zoom in and you do the same things, like, and I think it's always good to just explore a lot of different ways of songwriting and a lot of different.
Well, it looks like on the Science of Love, you guys have done some exploring because we rolled out Alive, which you said was more of the laboratory.
Yes,
And it sounds like Paper Love was more of the organic or creative.
you nailed it, Jim.
So you guys got a live show coming up tonight at the Black Sheep. We are
That's
so
right.
excited to have you guys out there.
Ow!
Tell us a little bit about what we're gonna see tonight.
Well, you'll see all 6 of us up there on that beautiful stage, the Black Sheep. You'll see another band, a friend of ours coming from LA, No Way North, and a couple of great local bands as well. Very excited. Been chatting with those guys, the local musicians here, and can't wait to see their stuff. Sounds good already. You'll see us more or less in our costumes from the Science of Love video. We got some jackets made with real life Chinese characters and one totally fake made up Chinese character on the back that means Trapdoor Social but isn't a real Chinese
We'll
character.
just say it is Trapdoor Social. So
Yeah.
we're coming up at the end of the hour. Everybody is looking forward to the show. In fact, if you'd like to go to the show, we've got a couple spots on the guest list. So when they're done singing, if you want to be the 5th and 7th caller at 219-ROCK, 219-7625, we'll put you on the guest list. If not, the tickets are still available. Black Sheep, it's going to be a beautiful Sunday night. You should get out and enjoy the show. Guys, one more song before we go. What's it going to be?
This one's called Fine on My Own, and it's like really completely just written and not been showed to almost anyone at all anywhere. So I don't know if our manager is going to be super excited about us doing this on the radio.
Carl
but,
Springs is the first to ever hear this
It
song.
seems like a good idea to us.
All right, we are definitely the new alternative music station in the United States right now, breaking some Trapdoor Social. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to have you in the studio. Can't wait for the show. Let's play it out.
Life is running on low, but I know that I can make it if I climb up out of this hole. 'Cause no one's gonna save me this time, no God to strengthen my hold. This is my way to find I'm fine on my own. Up on Sundays, can't get enough, but I go where the wind blows and question no one. Honest watching truth over shocking talk all alone on this road you've been walking along. What keeps us out of sin when there's no fear of falling? All these kids think they know how the earth came around. The lies I be confessing, what are my lies but a blessing? Everything we believed to this point has been wrong. Life's running on low. I know that I can make it if I climb up out of this hole. 'Cause no one's gonna save me this time. No God to strengthen my hold. This is my way to find I'm fine on my own. Screw me 'cause this party started, crews keep on marching on, but I go where the wind blows and question no one. Who told you guys were watching truth over shocking talk all alone on this road you've been walking along? When light leaks through the trees, you'll hear the ones whisperly tell you throw away what you own and forget what you know. But walk on in reflection, you'll be hard up for the lesson. We celebrate what we feared, there's been science enough. And I know it's fun to save me, but my mission goes hazy. Give the time, life is a word trading. So my mission on this and I'm fading away. Fading away. And I know it's fun to save me, but my mission goes hazy. Give it time, life is a word trading. So my mission on this and I'm fading away. Fading away. Life is running on I can make it if I climb up out of this hole. 'Cause no one's gonna save me this time, no God to strengthen my hold. This is my way to find I'm fine on my own.